Hi everyone, it is Marie here from Skeins, and I thought I would come and catch up with you before the weekend and just actually do something that I haven't done for several weeks, which was come to you with some more pattern ideas for things that you can do, especially with our new legacy yarn. And there have been some really incredible pattern releases just in the last little bit, which has been fantastic, which is, I mean, obviously down in this part of the world, it is winter time at the moment. Not that we've had the coldest winter down here. It has been quite warm about the last sort of few weeks, but there have been some really, really fantastic patterns out to excite us to get knitting with. So that has been a lot of fun. So I thought I'd cover off a couple of those, talk a little bit about our legacy, which I've talked about previously before, and also you have loved the $2.95 specials that we've been doing, and I've got some more of that as well. So there's, you know, a few bits and pieces to talk about this morning or this afternoon. Oh gosh, days disappearing on me. So yeah, so that should be fun. And I've also been doing some of my own knitting, but I'm a bit slow, I have to say. But I'm getting there. I'm onto sleeves now, so this is a good thing. First off, though, I wanted to talk about legacy. I know loads of you jumped in and grabbed some legacy when we popped it up. I am so delighted with this yarn. I really, really am. To catch you up, if you haven't caught up with what legacy is a new merino Polworth blended yarn that we're doing. Now, it's a yarn, we discontinued the Heritage Organic Merino earlier in the year. And we did that because the format just wasn't quite right. We wanted to get it a wee bit better. And I've had this yarn construction percolating around for quite some time. It's been something that I've been wanting to do, in fact, for years, and I have driven them bonkers here about this idea. And what the idea is putting a higher angle of twist onto the yarn, which is what we don't normally do with our yarns. You often, traditionally with spinning, you keep this lovely softer level of twist, so you get this beautiful bounce and squishiness with the yarn. It gives it really nice handle with the ball, and that's sort of been the industry standard for a long time. However, when it comes to finer yarns like beautiful fine merino, the downside of a really fine yarn is that when you go to wear it or you knit it into a fabric, those fibers are incredibly fine and they like to escape, and you can actually get a little bit of additional wear and tear and pilling on your product. Now, I personally, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. I am very much of, if I have a yarn and I absolutely adore it, I will knit something in it and I will get my little depiller, and if I have to buzz around under the underarms and the bust line and places where things rub, every time I wear it, I'll do it. Because that's me, because I love it. I love the feel of the yarn. I'll love everything about it. And for me, that is part of the sacrifice that I make if I want to knit something in an ultrafine merino or a cashmere or the like. But for other people, they don't have that time, or they don't want to do that, so they want to have something a little bit that gives a little bit better wear. So hence legacy. So legacy is our organic merino supplier, which happens to be from Western Australia, a beautiful place called Dumbleyung in Western Australia, which I just think is the best place name ever. And they're a wonderful family that have been growing biodynamic certified organic merino for some time. In fact, their entire farm is completely organic. They really are, the Lloyd family, they really are fantastic. So we're getting beautiful fine micron merino from them. We've also added, because we thought we need to add a touch kiwi in here as well, and we've added in some Matakanui Polworth, which is from Matakanui Station down in central Otago. And Polworth is a beautiful fibre. In fact, if you're a hand spinner, it's my favourite fibre to hand spin. Beautiful long fibre. Polworth was a foundation breed from Victoria in Australia. So that is where they've come from. And there is the Matakanui Station in New Zealand, are probably the most renowned breeder of Polworth here in this country. And it is as a fibre, it's wonderful. It's one of those fibres that plays beautifully with every other fibre. And what it does with the organic merino is it just helps give it a little bit of guidance and direction, as it were, and it helps from a spinning perspective. And the upshot is what you end up with is this incredibly wonderful, beautiful wool yarn. So Legacy is that. It's come from a yarn where we have got direct relationships with both the farms. We know where they've come from, and we've also got these beautiful, beautiful, rich, warm colours. So what we've got here is we've got dual colours here, like these, which are the beautiful, what have we got there? We've got mustards and teals and stuff. And then we've also got some really lovely softer shades in there. Oopsie go, there we go as well. So we are loving Legacy, absolutely loving it. Now, I mentioned before about the twist. Sorry, I had someone come into my office. I got a bit distracted. The twist. And I'm going to pull, oh, actually, no, I'm going to pull it out on the sample here so I don't have to go breaking into balls. So what we've gone and done is, unlike the, and have I got any of the old one? Should have had one that I prepared earlier. Yes, I have. Don't you love it? When her little, see, look, this is welcome to Marie's drawer of tricks. There is actually a reason this great monstrosity is in here, so I can hide all my stuff. So this is my drawer of tricks. So this is our old heritage organic, and this is the new Legacy. So from a count perspective, they're very, very similar. But as you can see from a construction, let's get this, there we go, that's better. From a construction perspective, the big difference is that the Legacy is made from 3 ends or applied together, but the biggest thing is this angle of twist. We've actually put quite a high angle of twist on it, and it does. It will makes all the difference. I'll put you back in there, back into the little drawer of love. And it just makes all the difference when it comes to creating a fabric, because what you then get is this beautiful smooth fabric. Everything all holds in together, and you get this really, really, really nice stitch definition, which is fantastic. Which then brings me on to some pattern ideas. So I thought, well, I better leap on and have a look and see what is out and around and available that is brilliant to knit with our Legacy. And the first one that popped up was such a sitter, I couldn't even believe it. This was just released a month or so ago by Amber O'Brien, and you all know what a huge Amber O'Brien fan we all are here. And this one is called the Ochre cardigan. Well, I mean, look at that. I know, perfect, right? Absolutely beautiful. And what I love about Amber's work is that, of course, it's contemporary, simple, stylish. Her patterns that she's written are really, really easy to follow. I did the pop top, many of you did the pop crop cardigan. What I love about this little guy, now this one here, she's actually done this one in a, this one was actually done in a merino, more luscious. And as you can see, there's this really lovely little lace detailing here in the sleeve and at the hemline. And she also knit this as well in a shabui linen. So this is actually quite a nice pattern that works well in these finer weights of yarn. And she's obviously designed this to be a transitional cardigan through the seasons. And I have to say, I mean, I love these sort of, I mean, I'm wearing my Miss Jane today. These lighter weight cardigans and the pop crops like that too, they're just so good if you're not in a super, super cold climate, which I have to admit for us here in Hawke's Bay, we are very temperate. So for me, this style of cardigan is perfect. But the thing I loved about it is because she also knitted it in the linen, that if you have, if you're in a warmer climate and cotton or linen is something that's more practical for you to wear than wool, this cardigan would be fantastic or ideal. I think you could also knit this in a really fine sort of fuzzy mohair type deal as well if you wanted to. But for me, I think that with the Legacy is an absolute sitter. Also, Outlaw Bohemia Sport I think would work really, really well in this cardigan too if you wanted something with a little bit more bloom and blush to it and you didn't want it to be too heavy to wear. I think that would be really fantastic. So that's called the Ochre cardigan with Amber O'Brien. Again, don't panic. I will put all the links to all the patterns in the comments when I'm done, so you'll be able to access those. The other one that was also launched, or not launched, but available, and I haven't got images of, but I've talked about ad nauseum, is anything by Libby in terms of the Timely cardigan, the Floozy cardigan. I think, what was the other one that was also in that group? Her New Shawl Drama Queen. Libby writes fantastic, fantastic patterns for anything, particularly net fingering, four-ply weight. Now, I know if you follow Libby at all, she has been away over in Oregon doing a photo shoot and a collaboration with another designer across there, and she's about to launch a huge big collection. I know she is absolutely up to her eyeballs getting that ready, and if you're coming to Knit August Nights, you will be able to, I am sure, see the samples from that collection, and she'll be able to talk to you about her adventure across to there, which is going to be incredibly exciting. But that's the beautiful thing. If you're knitting a floozy, if you're knitting a timely, and you've been looking for really good colour selections for those, this Legacy is perfect. See, I mean, like that colour selection there for sort of a lighter, softer version for a floozy or a timely, absolutely delightful. And then you've got, you know, the options like of going, whoopsie, something a little bit brighter, throw in a pop of colour. Yeah, there's loads of different little options there. But if you're struggling to find a pattern, if you're a person that before you invest in the yarn and you're wanting to make sure that you've got a pattern, definitely have a look at Amber's entire pattern page or Libby's entire pattern page, because there are so many ideas for this weight with both those designers. They're both Australasian designers, one in Australia, one in New Zealand, and you know that you'll be able to get something that works with yarns and instructions and conditions that we're used to dealing with all the time. So I really, you know, do check out both their pages because there is just so much there. So that's with Libby. Now, the other thing I just wanted to mention before I jump off Libby and talk about some more patterns is, as I said before, she's been away to Oregon. I mean, I swear, I don't think you sleep, Lib. I really don't. I haven't quite figured out when you sleep. And I know that you're so busy with your farm and children. And yeah, I don't know where you find the hours in the day, to be honest. She has also just launched a new group here on Facebook. And it's just called the Truly Myrtle Chat. Hold on, I did write it down. Truly Myrtle Chat and Hangout. That's what it's called. So do head over if you are a lover of Truly Myrtle patterns and you've knitted some or you're in the process of knitting it. That is your place, Myrtle. Anything Myrtle can be chatted about in there. I have to admit, I'm loving it. I really do love seeing all people's finished objects, particularly people's interpretations of different cardigans, how they interpret colour, how they interpret yarn into a different pattern. For me, I just find that really fascinating, and it's wonderful. So if you actually are wanting advice, there's lots of support over there. Of course, we have all of this here at Skeins, and we don't want you to leave us and disappear. But if you're wanting to get a true Myrtle immersion experience, I would definitely recommend joining that group as well, because there is, as I said, Libby has so many patterns that are perfect for a number of our yarns. I actually think that's a very happy marriage in the world of the interweb. So and again, I'll put a link to that group in the comments. Right, speaking of also other there's been loads of new releases. The other person who's also coming to Knit August Nights, who's also been incredibly busy, and again, I don't know where you find the time with two teenagers and teaching full-time at high school, and yeah, I'm in awe, is Georgie Nicholson, aka Tikki Knits. And Georgie has been really, really busy as well. And the thing with Georgie's patterns, which are fantastic, is because of she's inspired so much by her children. She's inspired by her community where she lives on the South Victoria coast, and she's also works endlessly and really I'm tired. I'm so tired. She works really tirelessly with a lot of Australian producers, and she's a really huge champion for Australian producers, and so are we too, because a number of these yarns actually are manufactured here by us. So we get to see these beautiful fibres come through, and there's some really exciting things happening across the ditch with producers who are growers and farmers actually making their own yarns, which I think is wonderful. And one of those growers is a company called Millpost Merino, which have their yarn made here. They're based in New South Wales. It is beautiful. If you can get your hands on it, I know quite readily available, and they do loads of markets in Australia. If you can get hold of it, it's beautiful. It is very akin to our silver lining. Beautiful, wonderful, lovely, squishy, delightful, unctuous. It's great. It's absolutely beautiful. And she has written this gorgeous wee thing. This is Penelope. Oops, there we go. Modelled by her beautiful daughter Lily, out on the beach. And what I love about this cardigan, it's a DK cardigan. She wrote it for the Milpost Merino, but what I love about this cardigan is it's so fantastic for little girls. It goes up to a 32 inch. So if you're also in the petite category, definitely not me, but if you're 32 inch, so that will take you to around a size 12, up to probably around a size 12, 10, 12, you'll be able to do that cardigan. There's 17 sizes in this from newborn. So if you're looking for a wee cardigan pattern that you're going to get a huge amount of longevity in, this is the pattern for you. And that is one of the things, often finding those patterns where you can actually start it when they're small and then continue to have that favourite cardigan grow again and again and again and reknit again and again is just something really special. It is something that Georgie does especially well. She did it with Granny's favourite and my favourite. She's done it with Milo releasing bigger sizes, Lily releasing bigger sizes. And this Penelope is absolutely beautiful. It has got this really neat, and I don't know how well this camera's going to do this with the focus, this really, really neat little chevroned double decrease lace pattern at the bottom, which is just gorgeous. That creates these beautiful waves, and that's actually very, very straightforward to do. This is a brilliant cardigan if you are an adventurous beginner and you just want, you're starting to get your straps on with knitting in the round. This will be great. It's like any of other Georgie's patterns before. It'll be incredibly well written. So if you're just starting out and you're looking for something, Penelope will be fantastic. So as I mentioned before, she's written this in Milpost Merino. Our Albertine, which I have here is one I happened to prepare earlier. So our beautiful Albertine Merino, that would also work fantastically well in this. If you've got silver lining at home, I know heaps of you stashed up on that when we destash that out. That will be perfect. If you've got, what else did I write on the back here? Vintage, actually. Our vintage would be ideal in that. Again, smooth yarn, it will show up that stitch definition just absolutely beautifully. And the other one that I think that will work really well in this is Mahana. So if you're looking for something to do in the Mahana, it will give you a drapier sort of a feel to the cardigan, but I think Mahana would be an absolute crack on that. So that is Penelope. Now, the other one, Georgie, she did two. I know. Lily can't have all the fun, so she needed to bring one up for, so she's got the wee cardigan, so she also brought out a fantastic hooded jumper as well, complete with kangaroo pocket and hood. This one's called Surfside. And it's a pity, actually, that she's brought this one out now, because I've obviously started just knitting a hooded jumper for my son in Lodge, and I would have actually done this one, but it's all right. I've gone so far now. This one, it's okay. I can get this one too. I can do both. So this one here is done. She's done this in 10 ply. So I mentioned Lodge. This and Lodge, great friends. If you're looking for something to do in Lodge, this would be absolutely ideal. Also, too, I would consider Bohemia Worsted. Southlander would be fantastic with this. It is a more rustic yarn, so if you've got someone who wears outerwear and the fabric doesn't face them, that would be a good option. The other option to consider is actually Loyal 10 ply, and I have got one of those left that will be going into the special that I'm going to talk about in a moment. But that is a really great everyday pattern if you're looking for something, a hooded sweater that for any kids that she's done this in 11 different sizes. Up to, did I write down? Yeah, up to 30 inches on that one. So again, that is another fantastic pattern to have in the pattern library, to make sure that when you need to have that go-to pattern to whip something out, you've got it there. And that's the thing. Sometimes, it's just so nice to know that you've got them in the arsenal, get the yarn together, and away you go. So that one is called Surfside. Oh, and actually, that's what I wanted to say. Surfside, the other yarn that I think would look amazing, and it will give a really interesting textured look to the pattern, is Mahana. Oh no, Mahana, Afi. So that's the Afi there. Now, Afi we have on the band is a DK. So we've spun it from a technical specification point of view to a DK. However, here we go. Oh, there we go. Look. So here's my, oopsie, and I've got it around the wrong way. Have I? Yes, I have. Right. So as you can see, this is what I'm working on. And before you wonder what have I gone and done at the back, I have actually done a slightly asymmetrical back. So I've done, with a few little sneaky short rows, I've made the back slightly longer than the front. And I've done that for a couple of reasons. One, so I know the front from the back, because this is me. But two, just because I just like things hanging a little bit lower at the back to cover my generous posterior, because it just makes me feel better. But the point that I was getting to before I got waylaid was the fabric in this. This is knitting. You have no idea how happy I am about this fabric. This is just a straight stocking stitch fabric. See, this is the problem. I don't have squisher vision, so you can't actually see how this feels, but it feels fantastic. But what I love is just that lovely soft texture that you get with the Afi in the straight stocking stitch. And this is knitted on 5mm needles as if it were a 10 ply. I'm having no issues with it shedding, fuzzing, or anything like that, because it's a wrap yarn. And the wrap, holding it around, that gives it the nice little wavy, bubbly texture, is also keeping those fibres where they should be, and creating this really gorgeous fabric, which I think would be a fantastic fabric with this being predominantly stockinette stitch, Ansell stocking stitch, and it will give you this really beautiful, light sort of drapey jumper. So if you've got a kid that just wants like a casual throw over when they're at the beach type jumper, but the feel of this is so soft, being alpaca, you're not going to have any, you could wear that next to your skin, absolutely no problem whatsoever. So I think Afi and Surfside are actually going to be a really nice combination, and you should get the 18 stitch gauge on that, no problem at all, because that's pretty much what I'm running off here. So that is my recommendation for Surfside. And as you can see, I am tracking along with this. My goal is to have this done for Knit August Nights. I am now onto sleeves. So I've just started the sleeves. So once I actually get into that, it shouldn't take too long at all. It's actually been a really pleasant thing to knit. And I just need to obviously write down all my modifications, because I have made many. Surprise, 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 if you know me oh so well. Right, my list. How am I going with my list? I'm doing well with my list. Let's get on to Can. So Knit August Nights is coming up. Thursday, 2 weeks today. So 2 weeks today, Stephen will be here. Stephen Berg from the USA, or StevenBe, as many of you know him. He's really excited. He's just done the Stitches conference in the US, and he is heading down here. Once he does Knit August Nights with us here in Napier, he is then heading off on a nationwide tour. So he will be going from here to Wellington, then from Wellington to Arrowtown, Dunedin, Christchurch, and then Auckland. I'll pop a link to where you can book for his classes elsewhere. He is, unfortunately, Knit August Nights is sold out, so registrations are closed. However, you can pop along to the public day on Sunday morning. There is actually still some spaces in a crochet class there, but the market is open to anybody, 9 till noon at East Pier Hotel in Ahuriri. So you are more than welcome to come down and check that out. I also have dates, if you've got a pencil handy, for Can 2020, and that is going to be August 27th to 30th, 2020. So those dates have been set. It has been locked in and booked with the hotel, so do make sure you pop that in your calendar if you're not able to make it this year. So as I said, Stephen will be here. Georgie will also be here teaching 4 classes again at Can. We've got Claire Devine. We also have some of the best of local talent as well, including Morag McKenzie, Frances Stahl, and even our wonderful Deb Moore from Outlaw Yarn. She's teaching a class. So there's a really wonderful, wonderful group of people that come, and we all come together to just essentially have a knit up and a pretty jolly good time. So if you're wanting to get a little touch of the Can magic, and you're not able to make it to Napier, but you are able to make it, as I mentioned, to Wellington, Arrowtown, Dunedin, Christchurch or Auckland, do make sure you pop over and meet Stephen. He is an incredible tutor. He's very, very dynamic. He is, he says, why shine when you can sparkle? He is just he's a larger than life person, and I think he's just a really great person for our community to really shake us all up and make us happy and think about colour and turn our paradigms on how we think about knitting on our head or crochet and expand our horizons, which I think is a really good thing. So can't wait for Stephen to get here, and as I said, 2 weeks today he will be in the thick of a masterclass here in Napier. So that is coming up. With also Knit August Nights, as we do have, as many of you know, regular shoppers know that we do have a Knit August Night sale. I will be doing a Knit August Night sale again this year, don't you panic. But I've decided, because it gets pretty manic, you may have noticed that we have been putting out a couple of specials in the last week or two, and we've been doing that to actually help spread our load instead of having a massive amount come in with Can. And I'm also working on bringing in some fresh stock for that sale as well. So I'm just clearing out a few other bits and pieces that we've got lurking around from our favourite distributor. And in fact, while I've been talking to you, I see the email I've been waiting for has just turned up. So that's good news. What we're cleaning out today, Claire's been so busy. She's been going through everything, going through all the stocks that we've had. We really are having quite a good spring clean. You have no idea. Oh, God, I've got so much to tell you, but I can't tell you now. It's going to have to wait, hopefully next week. Right, so, I know. What? How many minutes are we up to? God, crikey, we're nearly half an hour. I'm here all day. I'm nearly done, I promise. Right. We've got the last of these loyal solids. There they are there. These are all chunkies, 14 plies. So if you're looking for some chunky yarn at a great price, ta-da! We also have actually the Kanuku, which is a lovely sagey green, which is also on a pretty good special on the website, which actually would tone with these guys really, really well, and count-wise would fit with these guys beautifully. These, $2.95, because you seem to like $2.95, so $2.95 it is. I've spoken to him, we made it happen. So these are all going out now, $2.95 while stocks last, and to be honest, we're not very many of these solids, and we are down now to the very last of the pattern prints. So we've got one lot of the baby print left, which is that guy there, which is Irish Jig, it's called. A really fun green and turquoisey print. And then we've got the self-striping print, which is these ones here. So those are the ones named after the Kramer characters. I think one of them is sold out, but the others are still available. So there's that one. And then we've got these, what I call the patterned prints, which are like the staccatoed, almost faux rile type pattern prints. And if you jump onto, honestly, if you just jump onto the Speakeasy, you'll see these, loads of people have knitted in these. So if you want to see how they knit up, that's the perfect place to check that out and have a look how they look. And they look brilliant. They really do look good. We are now down to the last rats and mice of all of these. So all of it is going out at $2.95. So we want it gone. So yeah, so if you're definitely stocking up or charity knitting, these are all brilliant. 100% wool, 100% machine washable on a gentle cycle. So $2.95, they're live now. I've rejigged the sale page, all on the sale page, so you should be able to find them at the top of the page. If you picked up some of the brown, the naturally baby natural and the kiwi, we are now literally down to the last rats and mice of that too. So I think there's about half a dozen bags left, if that. So make sure you pick that up. I'm picking by the weekend, it will be all gone. Right, I think that's everything. Oh, I'm going to show you this though. You need to come to Can if you want to know what that is. Right, on that note, I'm going to talk to you probably next week. Keep posting stuff up in the speakeasy. There is no theme this month. You just have to post. It's as easy as that. If you post, you're going to win. So simple. Have a great weekend. I've talked way too long. I will see you again next week. And stay warm, stay dry, stay safe, stitch on. See you later.